Alright, we're ready for the power pipe installation. This is the Anderson AF-0134C power pipe for the 05 to 09 Mustang GT with the Vortech or Paxton Supercharger. This power pipe was originally developed for the front mount intercooled blow-through systems because it just had a pipe with a large filter with a heat shield. This can be utilized though for the draw-through system with a mass air in the front of the system. Now, of course, there are going to be a little bit of modifications you have to do, but of course I'll show you along the way here for the installation because that is what we're doing. Of course, it comes with the dedicated heat shield for the power pipe system itself, air filter, the coupler with clamps, and this PMAS 90mm mass air meter with the short coupler to be able to bolt both to the pipe and the air filter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this installed, and of course I'll show you along the way the differences with the draw-through system of this combo versus, say, your blow-through system like a Paxton or a Vortech with a front mount intercooler. We'll go ahead and get started by installing the shield, but we're going to mock it up a little bit first. You're going to take the trim panel off, the radiator cover panel off here first, that way you give yourself more access. The easiest way to get this shield in is you're going to snake in the front of the shield first under the radiator hold down right next to the overflow hose here. So we're going to start just by kind of swooping it in, and then it'll pop on down into place. And then, as you can see, it kind of just falls into place once it's there. But essentially what you're wanting to do is just make sure that you get it close to the locating bolt here where this gets bolted down, and to see if you're going to run into interference with these brake lines, which some cars do, some cars don't. This one does interfere a little bit, so we just have to bend these lines just a little bit. Not a big deal. You don't need to hulk them or anything like that. Just kind of bend them out of the way. That way that the shield is facing more like in this position instead of closer to the blower and stuff as it's sitting now. So now we know what you have to do. We'll go ahead and make that little slight change, and then we'll be able to bolt this shield down. Our mass air assembly ready to go. I went ahead and pulled the factory mass air sensor from the factory MAF housing and applied it to the PMAS. Now, went ahead and just made sure that the flow is indicated in the right direction. And I'll make sure airflow goes in through there. So now I've got the clamp already tight on this side. Screws are, included screws are tightened down. Now we're going to go ahead and prep the air filter. Let's get a little tighter here. And that way we can just slide the meter to the housing here. And now we're going to go ahead and start mocking everything up in the engine bay. We do have to make a modification to the 90-degree elbow that goes on the end of the pipe, and then after that we can put everything together. Test fit the whole assembly in here. It's going to be extremely tight fit, which is what it's designed to do. So let's see what we got to work with here. Yeah, looks like it's going to work. As you see, it takes up a lot of real estate right here. And of course, we got to check for hood clearance and stuff like that. You will have to trim that radiator cover. There's no way around it, just because this is so big compared to what was there originally. So, all right, we'll go ahead and do some more test fitting and stuff, and then we'll start locking everything down. Remember, it's going to be a really tight fit in here and stuff. You can trim some stuff if you feel more comfortable with that, with fitment and everything. It was designed to be tight and fill up as much space as possible. And of course we're going to reclock the mass air and everything along those lines. Now, in regards to the discharge, since this is a draw-through system, we do have to treat the bypass valve as a true bypass system. So this pipe does not have a provision for that, so we're going to have to drill a hole into this 90-degree rubber elbow here. And since we know the placement of it, we know where to mark it, so that way the discharge side and the bypass valve that come off of here can go straight into that elbow. It does come with a plastic 90-degree barb, so that way everything just fits into place. So yeah, you will have to drill, if you are running a draw-through system like this with the mass air right here in front of the supercharger, you'll need to run the bypass as a true bypass system. So we're going to go ahead and drill that hole out real quick and then hook up the bypass system. And then we'll be able to lock everything down.
A 1-inch hole saw. Give us a nice clean cut. And just big enough to give us a nice super snug seal so we can actually kind of thread this into place. Just to make sure seal nicely and get you whatever direction you need.
Perfect. All right, remember this is for draw-through systems only if you need to run a bypass back into the inlet system. If you're a blow-through system, you do not need to do this step.
So with these, with our power pipe, and then also with the relocation of the power steering reservoir, this obviously before we had it was kind of tucked under, pushing everything down. Basically you're just going to end up having to mark, pretty much cut across here. Then I use a battery powered hacksaw with blade, just gives it a nice clean cut, and then you can go through with a hand deburring tool to get all the plastic pieces off of there. It also gives it a nice rounded edge so you don't have any sharp spots, anything that you're going to poke, cut yourself on, or chafe through and wear things.